Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Muhammad Siddique. On this episode, we have a special guest, Nicole Simpson. Nicole is the host of Skintellectual Podcast. Let me say it again, Skintellectual Podcast. We are going to ask how she come up with this name. Okay, I'm telling you right now, that's the first question. If you have this question and something like very creative, you may want to listen in this one, not one time, three times this one, because you will learn a lot. She is such a brilliant person and have a lot to share with us. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Nicole Simpson. Nicole, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to get started with the Skin Intellectual podcast?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so basically, I've worked in the beauty and skincare space for a long time, maybe 16 years. And my most recent corporate role before I went into consulting and having my own company is I was the global vice president of business development and education for SkinCeuticals, which is a brand at L'Oreal. And I was in charge of 37 different markets. So I was always somewhere else on an airplane outside of the US and exploring the world. And one of the things that I noticed was there were many countries I would visit that, the air quality wasn't right, the pollution wasn't great. And I learned that the beauty industry had a big part of that. So I always said, people would always ask, hey, why don't you have your own skincare line? You should. And I would say, no, the world needs another skincare line. Like it needs a hole in the head. Like there's too many of them. So if I did one, it had to have purpose. And I found the purpose. I'll never forget. It was in 2016. I'll never forget the day I was in Beijing, China. I couldn't breathe. My body was giving me issues. And I just knew that we had to do something. So I created a skincare line called Amethyst Skincare. And then we launched the Skintellectual podcast to go along with it. And the goal of the line is to set the example on how we can be more sustainable in the beauty and the skincare space. And then the podcast is now our voice to take the how-to message and get it out there so that all the different beauty brand and indie brand founders who want to be more sustainable can do it without breaking their budgets.
Without breaking their budget, and we are not going to pay you anything on this podcast and still try to capture everything from you, your knowledge. And so, the moment I heard the name Skintellectual, I was so intrigued. I said, I'm going to ask this young lady this question. What's the process to come up with this name? It's so unique. You got me right on the name right away.
So this was actually a combination of, taking a really hard look at what we wanted to achieve and also what the content was going to be. And it was a team effort between myself, my head of PR, and my head of marketing. So I'm not creative at all. Don't ask me to make a name because it'll be the worst name ever. And so I think the magic for us was really understanding and believing in the vision that we wanted to achieve. And then really analyzing our audience, knowing what would resonate with them, and really clarifying who we wanted to reach, the content that we wanted to, what type of content it would be. And we said, you know what, it's about skin, it's about beauty, it's very intellectual type of content. And we were playing with different words. We had word clouds and thesauruses, the whole thing. And we landed on the Skintellectual podcast.
So it's a result of 115 minutes meeting, or like when someone just get up in the morning and they had a dream, or what? How long? What?
Oh gosh, this was I would have to be honest and say it was a 6-month process. Most of the time we're Zoom meetings talking about our content consumer.
6 months for this one word?
Yes. But it was also our podcast planning as a whole. But the day that we created it, we were on a Zoom meeting and we were playing with word clouds and we're just playing with different words, putting them together, and there was Skintellectual.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yep. No, this is great. This is kudos to your whole team. Just will let you know.
Yeah, thank you.
So based on your podcast and working with your own product line, I would say, so what are the top 3 missteps to avoid, like mistakes to avoid when someone is launching their own?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the first to say this, and I certainly won't be the last, but if you fail to plan to fail. I think getting into a project like that without adequate planning is always something that can get you into some trouble. So planning is key. And in the very beginning, I'm the one with the big vision. And so I have this big picture where it's going to be in like, all countries in the world selling my products. But then it's like, okay, how are we going to get there? And you're like, well, you're going to make the product and you're going to go sell it. But then there's a million steps in between that we actually had to kind of go back and like really plan harder for. Once we did that, things really took a turn for success. So that's one. The other is believing in your vision. A lot of us do have visions and dreams, and we have the courage that it takes to go and start one, but sometimes we don't always believe in our vision as much as we need to, especially when something is new and you may not know how people resonate with that. Like the first formula we made was a face oil. There's a million face oils out there, and so we weren't sure how people were going to like it, and that's actually one of our top selling products. People love the oil, and so we had to really take a step back and understand, like, okay, this is the bigger vision. This is how much our consumer loves us. We need to believe that this is the case. And so really believing in our dream and vision helps empower us to get there. I would say if you underestimate the power of your thoughts or your ideas or your business, that's definitely a misstep to avoid. And then also just remembering balance. I see burnout, happen a lot with entrepreneurs, especially those just getting started or maybe transitioning from the workforce into having their own business, or who have multiple projects. Guilty of that. But I would say definitely making sure that work-life balance is top of mind when you get into these projects. It's very important that you realize that it's very difficult to pour from an empty cup. So you have to do what charges your battery so you can bring the best version of you to the table every day.
Best version of your table every day. That is a great wisdom on to missteps to avoid, create a balance. So, Nicole, if I just being a greedy on this show, if I asked you what are your top three success secrets which you would like to give it away,
Okay.
people are watching this now and maybe in future and recorded version, what would be those?
Okay, so top three success secrets would be, for sure, making sure that you've got the right people around you. Building your team is critical. There's only so much you can do being one person. It's very important to make sure that you have a team you can trust and a team of people who are smarter than you and bring a lot to the table, because they're going to be the ones taking your vision and really making it happen. So that is definitely one secret to success. The next one is always learning. Never stop learning. Always keep educating yourself in your industry, outside of your industry. There's always something to learn. This is why you have your beautiful podcast. There's always knowledge that can be shared. And so, the day you stop learning is the day that you're definitely going to slow down the success trajectory that you have. And I would say the third one, for me, is getting enough sleep at night. It's just sleep determines everything. And you have to really be able to show up having that clarity, being able to think clearly, go from point A to point Z, being sharp and really being that. And so just making sure you're taking care of yourself is my third secret to success.
Taking care of yourself, wonderful. Thank you so much. So, Nicole, tell us more about your product line. I know your website is Skin by
Amethyst.
Yeah.
Amethyst is the gemstone of youth. So we created this line, like I said before, it was, the motivation behind this was to create a way forward for brands in the beauty space to be more sustainable. So we use things like glass packaging instead of plastic. We have recycling programs in place with companies like TerraCycle. So if you use our products and you don't think that your local recycling agencies will recycle them for you, you can send them back to us and we will send it to TerraCycle to make sure that it never goes to landfill and never lands in the ocean. We also support a company called 4Ocean that take plastic out of the sea. So for every 5 products that we sell on our website, we pull 1 pound of plastic from the ocean. And that's our commitment to have an impact. We have goals for the future. So we're looking to be climate neutral by 2022. We've just finished up our B Corporation certification, which is an organization that vets out your social and environmental impact and certifies if you are actually doing good things or not. So we're very proud of that. So on the environmental and social side, we're really confident that we're stepping in the right direction and leading by example. But from a product point of view, we have some amazing formulas too. So we create formulas that are unique and different. The most recent one we created is for blue light exposure from your screens, like right now. Our lifestyles have significantly changed through the pandemic, and we believe will remain like this. A lot more Zoom meetings from home, but the blue light radiation that comes from your screen can significantly damage your skin. So we launched a serum that actually is proven to block that damage by 70%. And so while we have great sustainability, we also, for example, when we make that product, it works for your skin. It's clinically proven. But we also created it with waterless production. We don't use water when we produce. So again, we're trying to find ways to be creative to help the environment while we are bringing the consumer the best possible products.
That is amazing. Thank you so much. So check the website. Of course, if you care about your skin, you may want to go ahead. So
Yes, yes, yes.
just a clarifying question: is that only for female, or also the male can use it?
Well, I actually, if I'm really transparent, more men buy our face oil than women because they use it after shaving. And it's very soothing after shaving, and it helps with the bumps after shaving. And so we make products. We don't make products for one gender over another. We don't make products for really one age over another. Our products work for everyone. They're quite universal. And they manage skin concerns that a 20-year-old woman might have versus, or the same as like a 65-year-old woman. And so we believe that they are very practical, and that usually once you try the product, most people fall in love with them, and we think you would too.
Great. I'm glad I asked this follow-up question. So,
Yeah.
Nicole, we are about to wrap up, and I like to ask this question to my every guest comes, because I want to know what would you say to your best friend about a growth hacking secrets? This is name of the show. You are there right now. When I'm not there.
Say the computer broke up. Can you say the last part?
What would you say to your best friend about growth hacking secrets when I'm not there?
Oh, this is a must watch, a must listen. If you want to really, like I said, education is key for success, whether it's personal success or business success. And, a lot of us have stumbled and fallen along the way. A lot of us have found success in our own ways. And I think that this particular show shines a light on a lot of what not to do and a lot of what to do. That's what I would tell my best friend.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the kind words. As we are about to wrap up, what would you say as a final word?
Besides, thank you for having me as a guest, I would say, success is what you make it. If you dream small, your success will be small. If you dream big, your success is going to be big. So don't be afraid. Dream as large as you can.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nicole Simpson. Again, before we depart, I just want to make sure if you're listening, not watching, I want to spell out the website. You want to check it, because if you care about your skin, SkinByAmethyst.com. Thank you so much, Nicole Simpson, again, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Muhammad Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. All good wishes.
Thank you very much.